Activity 11. Take a pinch of lead nitrate and dissolve in 5 ml of distilled water in a test tube. Take a pinch of potassium iodide in a test tube and dissolve it in distilled water. Mix lead nitrate solution with potassium iodide solution. What do you observe? A yellow color substance which is insoluble in water is formed. This insoluble substance is known as precipitate, and this precipitate is lead iodide. PbNO3 twice plus 2Ki gives rise to PbI2 plus 2KNO3. In the above reaction, lead ion and potassium ion exchange their places each other. Lead ion combines with iodine ion and forms PbI2 as a precipitate and KNO3. Such reaction is double displacement reaction. A reaction in which positive and negative radicals of two reactants are exchanged leading to precipitation of a product is called a double decomposition reactions. Oxidation and reduction. Oxidation is a reaction that involves the addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen. Reduction is a reaction that involves the addition of hydrogen or removal of oxygen. Let us try to understand more clearly by doing the experiment in Activity 12. Activity 12. Take about 1 gram of copper powder in a china dish. Keep the china dish on a tripped stand containing wire cords. Heat it with a Bunsen burner or with a spirit lamp. Do you find any change in the color of copper? You'll notice that the surface layer of copper becomes black. Why does the color of copper change? What is the black color product formed on the surface of copper? In the activity, on heating copper, it reacts with oxygen present in the atmosphere to form copper oxide. The reaction is shown as Cu plus O2 in the presence of heat gives 2CuO. Here copper combines with oxygen to form copper oxide. Here oxygen is gained and the process is called oxidation. Now pass hydrogen gas over hot copper oxide obtained in above activity and observe the change. You'll notice that the black coating on copper turns brown because copper oxide loses oxygen to form copper. In this process, oxygen is lost and the process is called reduction. CuO plus H2 in the presence of heat gives rise to Cu plus H2O. In above reaction, hydrogen is gained. Such reaction is called reduction reaction. Generally, oxidation and reduction occurs in the same reaction. If one reactant gets oxidized, the other gets reduced. Such reactions are called oxidation-reduction reactions or redox reactions. In the CuO, H2 reaction, CuO is reduced and hydrogen is oxidized. Some other examples of redox reactions are 2Fe2O3 plus 3C gives rise to 4Fe plus 3CO2. 2PbO3 plus C gives rise to 2Pb plus CO2. Have you observed the effects of oxidation reactions in daily life? Corrosion. You must have observed that a freshly cut apple turning brown, the iron particles shiny when new but gradually becomes reddish brown when left for some time. Burning of crackers with dazzling white flames. How do these changes occur? They are all the examples of process called oxidation. Let us know how. Oxidation is defined as the interaction oxygen molecules with all the different substances from metal to living tissues which may come into contact with. Apples and other produce, example pears, bananas, potatoes, etc., contain an enzyme called polyphenol, oxidase or tyrosinase that reacts with oxygen. The oxidation reaction in fruit basically forms a sort of rust on the surface of the fruit. You might have observed the browning of cut surface of fruit when the fruit is cut. When the fruit is cut, it damages the cells in the fruit and allows the oxygen in the air to react with the enzyme and other chemicals of fruit. This reaction leads to browning of cut surface of the fruit. The browning of iron when left for some time in moist air is a process commonly known as rusting of iron. This process is basically oxidation reaction which requires both oxygen and water. Rusting does not occur in oxygen, free water or dry air. The rust formed on iron particles is a complicated material that contains various types of hydrated iron oxide. Burning of crackers in an oxidation reaction, it involves oxidation of magnesium, evolution of excess amount of heat and dazzling white fumes involves this reaction shows that it is an exothermic reaction. 2Mg plus O2 gives rise to 2MgO plus heat. Did you notice the color coating on silver and copper particles? When some metals are exposed to moisture, acids, etc., they tarnish due to formation of respective metal oxide on their surface. This process is called corrosion. Look at the following examples. The black coating on silver 4Ag plus 2H2S plus O2 gives rise to 2Ag2S plus 2H2O. Green coating on copper 2Cu plus O2 gives rise to 2CuO. Corrosion is the oxidative deterioration of a metal. Corrosion causes damage to car bodies, bridges, iron railings, ships, etc., and to all other objects that are made of metals. Especially, corrosion of iron is a serious problem. Corrosion can be prevented or at least minimized by shielding the metal surface from oxygen and moisture. It can be prevented by painting, oiling, greasing, galvanizing, chrome plating or making alloys. Galvanizing is a method of protecting iron from rusting by coating them a thin layer of zinc. Alloying is also a very good method of improving properties of metal. Generally, pure form of iron is very soft and stretches easily when hot. Iron is mixed with carbon, nickel and chromium to get an alloy stainless steel. The stainless steel is hard and does not rust. A metallic substance made by mixing and fusing two or more metals or a metal and a non-metal to obtain desirable qualities such as hardness, lightness and strength is known as alloy. For example, brass, bronze and steel. Gold, one of the most valuable elements, has been prized since antiquity for its beauty and resistance to corrosion. More examples of oxidation reactions. Combustion is the most common example for oxidation reaction. For example, burning of wood involves release of carbon dioxide, water vapor along with huge amount of energy. Rising of dough with yeast depend on oxidation of sugar to carbon dioxide and water. Bleaching of colored objects using moist chlorine. Cl2 plus H2O gives rise to HOCl plus HCl. HOCl gives rise to HCl plus O. Colored object plus oxygen gives rise to colorless object. Sometimes during rainy season, the power supply to our home from the electric pole will be interrupted due to formation of metal oxide layer on the electric wire. This metal oxide is an electric insulator. On removing the metal oxide layer formed on the wire with sandpaper, supply of electricity can be restored. Rancidity. Have you ever tasted or smelt the fat or oil containing food materials left for a long time? When fats and oils are oxidized, they become rancid. Their smell and taste change. Thus, we can say that oxidation reactions in food materials that were left for a long period are responsible for spoiling of food. Rancidity is an oxidation reaction. How can we prevent the spoiling of food? The spoilage of food can be prevented by adding preservatives like vitamin C and vitamin E. Usually, substances which prevent oxidation, antioxidants, are added to food containing fats and oil. Keeping food in airtight containers help to slow down oxidation process. Do you know that chips manufacturers usually flush bags of chips with gas such as nitrogen to prevent the chips from getting oxidized?